And hey there, hi there, ho there, and a gracious good Saturday morning to you. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast, where we talk about the joy and excitement of U of L women's athletics. Certainly, some great things have happened this weekend. We've got a great time here today on the show because we've got a full boat. That's right. Down the house today, all five of our participants are in here ready to bat some things back and forth. Daryl's going to be repairing windows on the side, and I don't know, Jared's going to be trying to get a media pass. It should be a fun show today. Going to do all kinds of stuff. I do have a quiz later on in the show for you, a random ACC quiz. So prepare for that, contestants. But let's just kind of catch up with everybody. Case, we haven't heard from you in a long time. The last I heard, you were watching boats turn left. What's going on, bud?
Has it been so long? I thought it was only 1 week. Who knows? Yeah, got to go out and watch some boats turn left last week. It was a good time. There was a little bit of concern because they were supposed to race on both Saturday and Sunday, and then rainstorms further up the Ohio River had the river a little bit high for Saturday, and a little bit debris, so they never got anything in on Saturday. But that was okay because that made a really compact. They jammed all the events back into Sunday, so almost made it worth $50 to go in. Let's see if they can reduce that price again next year, or probably see some attendance drop, I would think. But it was a good time. It was nice to go camping and get out, and then come back just in time for fireworks to terrify Rossi for an entire week.
Rolling on the river he was up in Madison, yes indeed. At the regatta. Daryl in the house with us today. Daryl had a bunch of excitement last night over at the Bats game. What were you doing breaking out windows over there, Daryl? Kind of explain this to us.
When I went in, everybody on staff was in a really good mood. And they kept saying, nothing's going to bring us down. So baseball gods again, just throwing everything at us. Yeah, there's a foul ball that came back and actually did shatter a window. They usually just kind of bounce off, but shattered a window at the new bar area. So the staff said that wasn't going to kill their mood. So then a bird flew in, and nope, still not going to bring them down. What else happened? Oh, some homeless people lit a fire in the parking lot, so we had the fire department out there. It was just a really interesting night.
Rolling on the river she was. That's indeed. And, oh, it's on the bird. Did the bird have to, have a minimum drink order, or did they just let the bird kind of just float around there?
Yeah, no ticket required for the bird.
Yeah,
Please
because it was
exit the
red.
facility.
The old Louisville logo, the Redbirds are in town in Memphis. So that's got to be a lot of fun, I think, for Nick Curran up there. Trying to keep all that straight, huh? Jeff
Yeah, they're selling Redbird stuff.
Yeah. Takes me back to those old days at a Cardinal Stadium with hearing that Redbird stuff. There's some fun times out there. Jeff McAdams in here with us today. Jeff's been kind of fooling around a little bit with this new improved system we're supposed to go to eventually here on the podcast. But what else is going on with you, Jeff?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit last week. I did not have time to put in on any of the work on that this week, so didn't make any progress on it. But we'll be trying to do some of that. Maybe I figure maybe this afternoon while I'm hoping to watch the Louisville City soccer game, and maybe try and take some time while that's going on to get some of this set up and so I may be pinging you all later to see if you can jump on real quick and test it out and make sure everybody's set up with us. So I'll try to make that happen.
All things go. Looking forward to that later on today. I got Jared in here with us today. Jared's usually here most every week. He's been out taking photos all week. And what else has been going on with you, Mr. Jared?
Excuse me, not much as the rain's been coming in and putting a damper in plans, but the eye doctor checkup went well yesterday, and Katie's best friend was here for a few days visiting from South Carolina, and they just left to take her back to the airport a few minutes ago, actually.
So all good well there, and a happy and content Katie, I'm sure, having a friend come up. It wasn't another guy, was it? Just to make sure.
Oh no, this will be her maid of honor at the wedding. So it was good. They've been best friends since childhood. So I think she's happy to have her friend Bailey here, and it kind of kept Katie occupied and out of my hair for a couple of days. So I can't complain either.
You go, it's already falling into those married traits, and he isn't even there. As for me, it was an exciting week for me. At least the last couple of days of the week have been exciting. As I woke up Thursday morning to find out I had a ruptured vessel in my left eye, blood vessel, which required about all day long in between various and sundry eye doctors, and ended up having maybe one of the most painful things one could think of done, but it wasn't painful at all, having a needle stuck into my eye to have the blood drained, an injection of the fluid to quit the hemorrhaging. Yeah, the psychological aspect of it freaked me out, kids. There's no doubt about it. They did keep me sufficiently numbed up, though, in that eye. I think I drank all the bourbon they had. No, I'm not kidding. They gave me. And so everything was fine there. I'm seeing a little bit better today. They said it's going to get better over days, but they mentioned next they're going to go in with a laser. So I think I probably need to catch up on some Star Wars movies here, to see how to handle my laser properly.
Just promise me when you're sitting in the chair or whatever set up and they're putting the laser in there, you'll start saying pew pew pew.
What I want to do is get it. I am your father, Dr. Robson. Do my best Mr. Darth Vader there. Or y'all probably don't remember this, but Blue Oyster Cult used to do laser shows when they were in concert back in the late 70s and 80s. So I might start singing, Burning for You or something like that while I'm in the chair. We'll see what happens with it.
My favorite is that you said you all probably don't remember this, as if most of us had any possible opportunity to remember it.
Me, I'm close.
I said most.
Yeah.
Three of the four he was speaking to were not born anywhere near the time that Blue Oyster Cult was playing live shows.
You might have seen it on YouTube or something like that, with the way the computers are today and such. The internet.
On YouTube, if you're looking for laser shows, you're probably getting Daft Punk.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That's
the modern equivalent, so yeah. More modern equipment, I guess.
But you guys go into that a little bit further. Modern punk is the kid next door, as far as I'm concerned. So, time of the show, though, where we usually get into a little scheduling and Twitter information. Scheduling, I'm sure, is still a barren desert wasteland, but Case does know our Twitter account, so take it over, Mr. Case.
Yeah, like you mentioned, scheduling still quite empty at the moment.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel, though.
There is. I wrote about it today in the article that women's soccer, which is scheduled to be first in competition this season, they'll tie with men's soccer, who play an exhibition game the same day at UAB. Women's soccer not listed on having any exhibitions at the moment on their schedule. I don't know if that'll change, if they're going to get any. If so, then we're probably inside of a month to fall sports getting started. So that's exciting. As it is, Saturday, August 14th will be the first day of the UofL 2021-22 athletic year. So that'll be a fun time. Looking forward to seeing women's soccer versus Ball State on that day. As for our Twitter accounts, my tweet is at best case scenario, BST case scenario. Jeff is at Jeff McAdams and at Card Couple Radio. Polly is at Cardinal Couple. Jared is at Mr. Anderson Jared, and Daryl is at Daryl Faust 4. As always, all of the U of L athletics Twitter accounts are great follows. We have a list on the right side of the website to check that out. Add that list to your Twitter account, or just follow them all individually from there, or just follow along on the website. All good options. But that's it. It's short and sweet scheduling in Twitter when there's nothing on the schedule.
I moved my Twitter back to private because I applied for a new job, so you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So
So,
So request to follow Daryl Faust Ford. See if she lets you.
No, don't request.
you just follow Twitter and you'll see some of her stuff out there anyway. If you do that, she's can be vocal at times about that, but we love it.
I'll set up a bot to quote tweet everything she posts. Kidding, I wouldn't do that.
Don't give people ideas, Jeff. Jeez.
I would never do that. So.
Just here to
Somebody
help.
might.
But one of the big things this week, and we might as well go ahead and start on into that first, is we did receive scheduling information for the fall for 3 different sports. Field hockey came out with theirs. We also got the women's soccer, as Case mentioned, and also volleyball is get a schedule out as well too. And this volleyball schedule is a huge one. It took me 2 pages to print that one out, but the other 2 are compact and kind of concise. So let's go ahead and just get on into 2 women's soccer a little bit here. Case I wrote an article about that today. It looks like the Cards have got 19-20 games here on that schedule. They started out August 14th, which is a Saturday, as Case mentioned, 7:30 p.m., bringing in Ball State to Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium down on campus. A season which is going to be quite interesting. The Cards have got a new assistant coach, Nick Stewart, a guy who's had some Big 5 experience in the past, and should be interesting for the Cards to see how that goes. I'll call it AE after Ekic in their Cardinal history. Okay, so what's going to go on with this team this year? They've got some tough early games before they get into conference play.
Yeah. You said 18 or 19. It's a 17-game schedule right now, which is a lot shorter than it has been recently. Not sure what's going on with that. It seems like 10 games feels like a shorter conference schedule than it has been in the past. So, but I didn't do any math to check that. This season is tough to predict, like I wrote about in today's article. Without Ekic, who knows what the offense is going to look like? It certainly looked pretty anemic in the spring. And then without L'Esperance to kind of bridge that defense to offense position that she played, that's going to be tough. You still have Taylor Kerwin. She elected to return this season, utilize that extra year of eligibility. So it'll be nice to have somebody in that role who has a lot of familiarity. She'll be filling in there. But there are quite a bit of questions, I think, with how this team is going to play, what formation they might play, whether they'll even stick with what they have been doing in the past. But it's definitely going to be tough offensively unless they can figure out some other way to get Delaney Snyder going. She's a great goal scorer, not a huge individual creator. That was one of Amina Akic's biggest strengths, is that if the ball was at her feet somewhere in the offensive third, you knew there was a good chance of Louisville getting something out of that. Delaney Snyder's really fast. She's a really good finisher, but like I said, not the best individual creator, or at least wasn't before. Obviously, that could change. But we'll see if Louisville can figure out some sort of offensive philosophy that isn't predicated on a single player like Ekic. Defensively, they should still be really solid. They return all 5 at the back. The 4 defenders. Actually, I guess they return all 6 at the back because they played a five-player defensive line last year. So they'd return all 5 of those players plus Gabby Cazelas. So defensively, they should be very good. I think that will carry them for much of the season. But in college soccer, you have to be able to score to win. So we'll see what they get offensively. I've got them going 10-7 this year, splitting conference 5-5 and dropping 2 of these non-conference games. I think they'll be the St. Louis game and the Michigan game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Western Kentucky snuck up on them or Ball State in the opener. They lost to Western Kentucky in the spring, so it wouldn't be the first time that happened. But it'll be interesting. Hoping for no surprises in the conference schedule, no negative surprises anyway. You don't want to drop a game to Miami or Boston College, but picking up a win over Florida State or Virginia, which I'm not going to hold my breath about, would be pretty nice. I don't know if 15 points will get them in the tournament. If one of those wins turns into a draw, I definitely don't know if 13 points will get them into the ACC tournament. But I think that if we approach this from a fan's perspective, looking at it as a bridge year, then we'll have some fair expectations.
Hopefully, indeed, we do. And Jared, I was noticing that we have 11 home games out of these 17. So that's going to be ample opportunity and kind of a nice break for Cardinal fans to get out to Mark and Lynn, uh, Cindy Lynn Stadium out there and catch some of these events, right?
Oh yeah, I can't complain about a bunch of home games, especially when they have moved admission to free at Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium this year. Sometimes you just want that home field advantage, especially as Case mentioned, where this could be a potential bridge year with losing some top talent and trying to get a lot of the newer folks just acquainted with the collegiate level play. Being able to play at home adds a sense of comfort and security sometimes. So you can't really complain there. But I'm like, hey, like I thought we had a longer conference schedule in the past, but it's been a couple years since we've seen a full season. So what do we know anymore? Right?
Hey, while we're talking about it, I was curious because I saw someone else ask about it too. What's the deal with not playing Kentucky?
Absolutely. I noticed that. There are 10 conference games, 7 non-conference, so why aren't we playing the Cats here? Who wants to offer this one out?
Yeah, so from what I've heard from some parents in the past, and this is basically just word of mouth, is that you get tired of playing a team every year that for a long time you would lose to. And unfortunately, there was a time when UK's program was already well established and Coach Karen Ferguson Days was still trying to build UofL's program up, and you did see a very long stretch where not only did we lose, but we just never looked great against them.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice to finish off our series rivalry stuff against them with that win at home at Lynn Stadium in overtime a few years ago with Brooklyn Rivers. I'm surprised, though, when you have a lot of talent that included Amina Ekic on the team, why you wouldn't want to go up against a strong team like UK just to showcase your own talent and get a big win on the radar, but maybe a season like this one where it's going to be a development year. I can understand not wanting to put them on this year, and maybe we'll renew that rivalry next season.
Louisville actually won the last two. That game in Kentucky or in Lexington in 2017, if I remember correctly, that one was a downpour. Louisville ended up winning that one 3-1. But yeah, before that, it was a little tough sledding for the Cards against Kentucky, but that hasn't stopped men's basketball from scheduling the game. So,
and I'm also looking at Kentucky's record in the past couple of years, and they haven't looked that great, right? Just overall.
Right, we've consistently gotten better while Kentucky's program has slipped noticeably. So to me, it's time go on and renew the rivalry. Everybody else that can play some men's soccer's got them on the schedule. Volleyball's got them on the schedule. Football, obviously, men and women's basketball will both have them on the schedule this fall or this winter. Now that you can play outside your conference, because that was the issue we saw with last season. Is the SEC was kind of keeping games and matches within their own conference. So I can understand last year and just brushing that one off. It was COVID season, but just put them on the schedule. It's going to suck to lose them, but it's going to feel that much better to win.
Yeah, I think they should be on it this year. It's probably the right time to get that back up and running, especially like you said, the free tickets that would draw a huge crowd. I think people are going to games just because we have them. Like the Bats have been packed since it's been 100% capacity, and I think it's just because people want to get out again. So
we certainly hope that will continue. I know there have been some kind of worries about the Delta variant in various pockets of our country, but hopefully if you're vaccinated, you should be okay. So go on out and then hit those contests for sure. Jeff, having Gabby Cazellas to go solves a lot of problems. It's nice to have it.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously great to have her back there anchoring that defense. I'll draw a little bit of a comparison with Racing Louisville right now, who has Michelle Betos in goal, who is just phenomenal. And Betos has like one of the highest number of I think by a significant margin, the highest number of saves in the league right now. But, you kind of look at that stat and you go, I'm not so sure that's really great, right?
Defense is a little bit of a sieve.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, it's great to have Gabby back there in that role and can be that backstop, but you don't want to depend on that. We haven't too much. Racing is obviously a team very much in development, which Louisville is not so much. But, it's like I said, you always love having her back there, but let's hope we don't have to depend on it.
I think we are going to have to depend on her a little bit more, because I would hope, given the loss of Amina Ekic, that we're going to switch out of that 5 back, because with 5 players in the back, Louisville just didn't seem to be able to do anything offensively in the spring.
Don't have much of an attack when you're, piling up on that back line.
Yeah, so they're going to have to figure something out. Real-time follow-up, though, I think the ACC plays a 10-game schedule every year, and women's soccer has had a 17-game schedule for the last 4 years at least. You just look at the end-of-season record, and it looks like more because of tournament games. But it just felt like shorter schedule when looking at it, but no, 17 games is right.
When you look at the powerhouses in this league, Jared, I think obviously you have to kind of start with Florida State there being one of the top teams in the nation, as well as the ACC, also North Carolina, a very good squad. Notre Dame plays some people well. Clemson has come on in the last couple of years and been a pretty decent team as far as that goes too. What are some of the things, the squads that the Cards have to worry about? And I think most importantly, how important is it to get off to a huge start in these first 7 non-conference games?
Yeah, you want to win as many of the non-conference as possible, because when you play in the ACC, you're almost guaranteed a couple losses minimum at some point in the season. But when you have teams that have been ranked number 1 or have won recent national championships like North Carolina and Florida State, they're very strong programs. They've been great for a few years. And then when you are a great program like that and you're winning championships, it puts a lot of eyes on you and it helps with recruiting. So they've gotten even better. While I think we've struggled in the past to bring in some of the Florida State, North Carolina type talent, just when you play against those teams, and we've noticed in the past, just how quick those teams are. And we've had a pretty quick team in the past before, but it's every player can just run up and down the entire pitch for a full 90 minutes without being tired. And I think that's been one of the most difficult parts for us, is just kind of getting beat on speed and getting beat off the ball a few times here and there. So I think a lot of it's going to come down to when you're playing in the ACC, you got to be able to recruit well. And with Louisville starting to grow as a soccer city, between having Louisville City and Racing Louisville now here, I think the interest will grow in the area, in this region with soccer, and I think in the long run it's going to help with recruiting as well.
Piggybacking off of that, Jared, I was looking at the current roster. I feel like in recent years we've had more players from the city of Louisville, or at least the state, on the roster, and there's not really that many this at the moment. Are these players like just better than the local talent, or is the local talent getting out?
I'm thinking it's kind of a mix. You haven't seen a strong emphasis on soccer at the middle and high school level in this area for a good while, and you started to see some of those improve. Manual's been a consistently good soccer program for several years, and you'd see other schools pop up in and out here and there, DeSales and Mail being a couple. On the men's side, St. X and Trinity have always had pretty decent soccer programs. You've seen more emphasis on the men's soccer at the lower level than you have with the women's soccer, and I think that's part of the problem right now. Is you can recruit plenty of local players, and there have been some talented local players walk through the doors at the University of Louisville with Amina Ekic, the Whitfield sisters, and many more. It's just there's other regions of the country that just put a lot more emphasis on soccer. You start at a very young age and really develop early on. And we've just got to kind of play catch up to that, or maybe even recruit a little bit more to some of those regions.
You certainly want to work your local bases as best you can, but It's kind of as Jeff Walls just found out over the years in women's basketball. It's great to have Kentucky kids, but you want to get the best talent possible in order to win games and do well in the conference. Sometimes those kids aren't necessarily from the local area. So you go where the players are, Joe. You go where the players are.
I think to piggyback on that a little bit, having Louisville City and now Racing Louisville are really good for building the brand of soccer in the city of Louisville. It's a little bit bad for getting local talent to come to your college. Those teams are already starting to and going to continue to build robust academies. And you're going to see as soccer becomes more popular in the entire country, I think you're going to see more academy teams and youth teams, and those players are just going to skip out on college altogether. The game I put in our group chat, the game that Jeff was at last week, had the youngest NWSL player ever playing for Portland, and she was only 15. So a 15-year-old playing at the highest level of soccer in the country, she's not going to college at all. So and that comes from that academy system. So as Racing Louisville builds out their academy, yes, it'll get more girls interested for sure, and hopefully that will mean some of the girls that are good but not NWSL level yet will need to develop more. Hopefully they'll come to Louisville, but and hopefully those the draw of having an NWSL team here and those scouts can come to every single game will bring some more talented players, but from across the country. But it'll be kind of a mixed bag as to how that impacts recruiting at UofL.
What about the name, image, likeness? What do you think that would have done for Amina?
Oof.
Probably good things.
Yeah.
Because when you look at women's soccer program, the names that are most recognizable over the last couple of years, Amina was by far and away the most recognizable name of that team. Now, Gabby Kuzelis has a strong following. A lot of people like her. A lot of people had high hopes for Delaney Snyder and a couple of others on the squad, but I think Gabby would do really good in it as long as she can get that build up. Plus, she's I think Jared, she's on her 6th year here now or something. She's been here a lot.
Yes, year 6 for her.
She's on the Tia Gibbs plan.
Yeah, the college. Yeah, sign me up for a decade. That sounds great.
So, did you all remember the billboard that had Amina on it? So basically, that was put up 2 months before that went into effect, right? And they would have owed her something. Is that right?
But she was already out of college at that point.
Maybe not.
Okay. All right.
She had graduated. She was officially a graduate with the December commencement. So
they wouldn't have owed her anything? Or they just wouldn't have put her up there?
Yeah.
Well, it also came before the July 1st.
Yeah.
I think that was a Racing Louisville billboard.
Was it a Racing billboard?
It had Amina in Louisville, like UofL gear, but I'm pretty sure it was a Racing Louisville billboard to drum up support for local people.
It was a purple billboard, wasn't it?
To come to the games, yeah.
It's lavender. Let's get the right color. It's lavender.
Lavender's purple, Jeff. There's only 6 colors.
I thought I was talking about a bunch of men here.
I work out of at least a 32 box of Crayola.
Jeff definitely has his palate out and he's mixing it well for sure. But something we haven't talked about here is that Karen Ferguson Days has a new assistant coach in Nick Sturrett, a man who has this Power 5 conference experience. Been at Oregon State, spent a little time I think in Michigan. They brought him in. What do you all think? What's the plan here? Is he going to work mostly with defense, offense? Is Karen going to lean on him for a lot of things? Let's talk a little bit about Nick, guys and girls.
Yeah, I think I had the right on that one. Trying to find what I had written about him there. He's been good defensively. Everywhere he's gone, teams have had really good defensive seasons or their best defensive seasons, but it's a little bit challenging to me to ascribe that to an assistant coach who was there for 1 year or 2 years. That's tough to say. Yeah, he really turned everything around. But he's done well with goalkeepers and defenders, and recruiting. And I think we were just talking about recruiting and how that might get more challenging, how it might get better. Having somebody there who's had success recruiting in the past for men's and women's soccer at various levels of college soccer, I think will be very important. We'll just have to see what he's going to bring to the tactical side. I think it'll be interesting if he has a hand in trying to reshape that defense, like we talked about earlier. But like with the team being fairly new this fall and not having spring exhibition to deal with, we'll just have to see what he brings when the season starts as well.
One of the things that also, as we mentioned, the free attendance this year, which means that we'll probably have a nice construction of the pep band out there, but it's going to be a different type of construction, Jared, as Al Greener will no longer be out there leading this new conglomeration of marching band, pep band that'll be games. Let's kind of talk about the transition of Al out of there and what maybe can we expect to see out there?
Yeah, I think the question remains right now of how present pep band will be at different sports, what they're going to do. I think pep band is turning into a class like marching band is, and marching band was a class that in the fall would meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4:30 to 6:30. So, and despite meeting 6 hours a week, it was counted as a 1 credit hour class. So, welcome to the world of music students. And when we say we're taking 18 credit hours, we mean we're taking 30 some odd credit hours, which was a regular thing for me. So I don't know how lenient the class will be, if they're going to meet 3 days a week, whatnot. And so I think we're going to see people drop out from pep band just because they don't have time to make it a class. In the past, pep band, we would meet once or twice a month on a Sunday night for an hour and a half and be like, okay, we need to run through these pieces real quick. Boom, over. So I'm curious to see how that is, but I think in some of the recent years, we didn't really see pep band at soccer as much. Pep band wasn't always at volleyball. Now that they brought DJ K-Dog in for some stuff, pep band wasn't always at field hockey, depending on the time of the game. So I'm not sure if we'll really see pep band at a lot of those sports, other than when you get to basketball season and they're always there. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Personally, I like having them there. It's just something different than constantly having the speakers and the radio going, because to me, those speakers can get a little loud and overpowering, while pep band is usually a reasonable volume. And they play some nice songs in the past. I remember grooving out while I'm on the field taking pictures of some of the stuff they play.
I think the thing that we all want. Yeah.
I'm really going to miss Al. He's so knowledgeable. He knows so many songs that would always fit the moment. He's also a huge fan. He's out there cheering while leading these musicians. So I'm really going to miss seeing him out there.
And he's out there cheering for events that the band isn't playing at. I mean, he really is just a fan of UofL athletics. He loves being out there. So, yeah, it's. I'm gonna miss seeing him around. Maybe he'll still be around. I hope so. Continue to be a fan. So.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Many of the chat I've had with him on the sidelines at basketball or up in the lacrosse press box or at field hockey or other places, he is a definite fan. Of course, he loves his Iowa Hawkeyes quite a bit as well, but was certainly into the Cards, and he would sometimes look at me and askance when I used to sit near him at basketball games on, why did they run that play? And I was trying to channel Jeff Walls, but it just wouldn't come through for whatever reason. So
always a comforting face.
Yeah, absolutely so. And always, you never saw him get too frustrated about things either as well, which is nice, especially if you're directing the band. It's going to be important. We also had, and we'll cover this just briefly here, and then we'll move on into the quiz here, because we've spent a good amount of time on women's soccer, and rightfully so, because there's lots going on there. I think we'll kind of push the other two schedulings off to weeks next week and the week after that with field hockey and volleyball because time just didn't get around to it today. But Alexis Mobley was in town. If you're a Louisville women's basketball fan, certainly aware of her. She is currently scheduled for the class of 2022 to come in then, but she's also graduated from high school, which leaves the question: could she be in a year early, Jeff? I don't know. She was here with this Run for the Roses.
I don't.
She played well.
Yeah, I don't think so because there would likely be some other indications of that happening. Now, we might see her around a fair bit at games and such. So, I've seen other players who have maybe finished high school early, reclassified, and have a year that they're around a lot. So that's a possibility, but I don't think we'll see her out on the court or officially involved with the program yet. So, but looking forward to it. She's fun to follow on Twitter. She's got a lot of personality. She likes posting videos of herself practicing and playing, and oh man, she's gonna be fun to watch. I think so. A lot of I'm looking forward to it. It is, by the way, Alexia, not Alexis. So just be careful of that.
Yeah. I've done that a couple of times. I know
there's so many variants of that name that it's easy to do. So yeah.
She also seems really excited to join.
She really does.
UofL. So that's what I'm most excited for. I want players to be as excited about coming here as I am about them coming here.
Yeah.
And she seems to have that.
Remember, Jasmine Jones had that over-the-top exuberance personality just to get here. And then once she got here, we saw that dramatically increase tenfold about what she could do. It tends to be kind of the same person here a little bit as far as that goes. That Jeff Walls is all of a sudden going big here with the recruits lately. 6'1" or 6'2" or 6'5"ers. Daryl, is this a kind of change in the Wallsian philosophy we saw from past years?
Maybe this past season. But, I mean, with the Kylies and the Sam Furings, I mean, they were pretty big. Olivia Cochran is not small.
That's true.
But, yeah, you look around the rest of the field in the country, and all the major contenders for a title seem to have that player, that imposing sized player. And we do need to get that to get to the next step because I feel like we lacked that last year. And before we switch off of Alexia, I was just curious, do we know what she's going to be doing this next year?
Practice
is she training with?
Is what I suspect, yeah.
Just straight up practice since there's no academics to worry about. Or is she going to start doing school? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just curious.
I heard she was looking for a button pushing job somewhere, Daryl. If you could help out there a little bit. I don't know. Up there, repairing broken glass. Maybe at Slugger Field. I don't know.
She'd probably do. She'd probably be the ball girl if she had the opportunity. She's just like Jeff said, following her on Twitter and Instagram. She's got some serious excitement about coming here, and that excites me the most.
She would need to look at some of Jazz Jones's antics at Louisville softball in past years, and Jazz would sit there to watch them play. And if someone would hit a foul ball out of Homer, Jazz would immediately run down the steps and out of the stadium and go chase it down. She would be sitting up by
Sign her up. Put a glove on Jazz.
I mean,
I would love that.
She chases down balls going out of bounds from the court that way too, and usually with encounters with railings. So
I thought she was trying to qualify for the Olympics with that one real move she did there. That was pretty interesting.
Kind of a pole vault sort of thing going on there.
But
the men's basketball team is doing that softball game, and I know we've talked about it in years past here, just if the women's team ever played their positions, what they would be on a softball field. I really wish we would have seen Jazz Jones. It would have been Jazz Jones' team and Dana Evans' team. I'm drooling thinking about that, but maybe one day we can get that to happen.
True that, and I think Maisha Hines Allen would have been one of the most intimidating pitchers in the ACC.
You think she would have been a pitcher?
Just standing What did you see some of her baseball passes when her career here? Oh my God, it was incredible. But
I
just
got her
standing
behind the
at
plate, just being intimidating.
Yes,
now,
catcher.
scowling in at the batter up there in that circle. And when Maisha could scowl, she could scowl. And then all
Doing
of a sudden, the
smack talk.
big arm winded up, warming them, and boom.
She's a wall back there.
She would have been Brissa Becker Jr., I guarantee it. But I was
We
going
got
to
to
get
pitch
pissed.
this at the press conference, Paul.
Well, Walls is going to want to coach the team, obviously, because he's the world's best softball player that didn't make it anywhere. All you have to do is ask. So we did that one time. I guaranteed I could strike him out one time, but we never got a chance to prove it. But let's go ahead and jump on out of here. And anything else you guys want to cover that happened into the world of sports over the week? You know, we had the ACC Network take over, but let's kind of wrap it up and move on into our quiz. Open floor. Anybody got anything they want to bring up?
I want to talk about volleyball. No, that's future weeks. We'll get there.
Just on the
Still have a
volleyball
few
field.
week, Jeff.
Yeah, you're going to get a feel of that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're leaning on you heavily, sir. All right. So we're moving on in today as we got a full house of contestants for the quiz today. This is going to be such fun as I've got a quiz lined up for you today. It's just kind of a general ACC quiz for you. If you're listening for the first time, you never played before, the contestants get 10 points for a correct answer. At the end of the quiz, they get a bonus question. They'll either get 20 points if they take it and make it, lose 20 points if they take it and miss it, or they could choose not to take the bonus and remain where their score is. Last week, we had a 3-way tie in the contest. So our three contestants will be battling to see if they can break that, plus the added threat of Case lurking in the background. So it'd be fun as Case gets on his black trench coat and hat, and he's ready to sneak in and take this thing from you guys. Be careful. All right,
I'm wearing a black trench coat and hat. I feel like one of the spies in Spy versus Spy, and that never went very well.
The old Mad cartoons, yeah. You probably would have gotten blown up in the first frame. Question number 1 for you. How many bird mascots are there in the ACC? Is it 3, 4, 5, or 6?
Are we on the time
Can we have a clarification?
Yes. How many bird mascots are in the ACC?
Is it named mascots or is it mascots?
Yeah, like their physical being.
Mascots. The ones that you're going to see walking up and down the sideline and doing stuff. We'll start with Case for our first couple questions here. So you've asked your peremptory question. What's your answer? 3, 4, 5, or 6?
Why am I blanking?
I think it is 4.
Case is going to go with 4. We'll move to Jared next here. Jared, does that sound about right to you?
I'm still counting the schools in my head here.
Right?
No.
Yeah, he made me first. I was like, crap, I can't count.
I was like,
Can't go through it that fast.
Even while Case was going, I was trying to go through the schools and think, so who's got a...
I've only brought up 2, and that wasn't an option, so I'm like blanking.
I'm gonna go with 3 because,
Oh,
like Daryl,
God.
I'm like, I can't think of a lot, but so I'm gonna stick with 3.
Jared thinks it's 3. Jeff, you love mascots. What do you got here?
I think it's 4.
He doesn't sound tentative on it. He's thinking it's 4. Daryl, you love mascots as well.
I'm going to say 3 just because I think it's 2, and 3 is closest to 2.
I like
All
that
right.
logic.
I'm going through the whole map, and I can only think of 2.
Oh, my. None of our contestants took 5 or 6 as a correct answer. And those were not correct.
Yeah, that
3
seems like a
was
lot.
a good guess, but the 4 schools who prominently display bird mascots out there are Boston College with Baldwin the Eagle, Louis the Cardinal, Sebastian the Ibis, and then Virginia Tech Gobbler on the sidelines. 4
Who's,
was the
who's the
answer.
Ibis?
Sebastian the Ibis, Miami.
Looks like
It looks like a
Miami.
duck.
Dang it. BC and
The big-
Miami.
Big pelican. But
You
it's not
got
a pelican.
Virginia Tech and you forgot BC.
Yeah, I know,
BC was the
rookie.
last one I came up with too. To be fair.
I had UofL and
Virginia Tech
BC,
was the
and then that
first one I
lost.
came up with because I thought it was a trick.
Virginia Tech was the
No,
last one I came.
Louis is by far the most popular of those, I'm sure. But so we have 2 contestants with the correct answer on that one. Let's move to question number 2. Who did Valerie Cagle play for last year? Valerie Cagle
Not us.
played it today. And in case you're still going first here, Valerie Cagle played in the ACC. Did she play for Clemson, Duke, FSU, or Virginia? What school was Valerie Cagle at?
I don't even know what position this person plays.
I
Or
don't know
what
what
sport.
sport.
What sport. I don't know what sport this person plays.
Ooh!
It's gonna be
What
a
were my options
tough
again?
one on you.
What were my options again?
Clemson, Duke, FSU, or Virginia?
I'm ready.
Uh,
But I want to go last.
Clemson, I don't care.
He
Okay.
takes a guess and says Clemson. Jared, you got 4 good schools there. Which one did Valerie do her work at? Clemson, Duke, FSU, or Virginia?
Yeah, either Case is really smart or he's a good guesser. But
Right.
I'm going with Clemson.
He's taking those Tigers as well. It seems to be a Tigers on the warpath, Jeff. What about Valerie? Where did she do her play last year?
I'm starting to think I'm wrong, but my integrity says that I had picked Duke before I heard these past 2 answers, so I'm going to stick with my Duke, but I think I'm wrong.
Daryl has been jumping up and down impatiently waiting to go last. Daryl, you get to answer this question now. Valerie, where was she?
It's Clemson, and it's not us.
Yeah.
Okay, so what sport does she
Clemson.
play?
She was
Softball.
one of the,
pitcher.
She's
a
she's
softball pitcher.
insane.
Oh, softball. Okay.
Yeah.
She was
She
the
was
one
incredible.
who pitched a full game against us in that really, really long game against Clemson that was like 11 or 12 innings.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now.
And she's a beast at the plate. She's insane.
I knew that. That's why I said Clemson. Duh.
that'd be a very good hitter.
Why can't I
Valerie
guess
Cagle.
like that?
Clemson Tigers. Jeff takes the X here. So we basically, what amounts to a 3-way tie for. No, wait a second. I'm wrong. There's only
Three-way
one
tie
person
for
that's still
second.
perfect, and that's
Yeah.
Case. Guessing Case is still the one
Yeah.
after 2 questions.
It's not very often
Alright.
that there's only one person perfect after 2 questions.
Yeah.
How about that? Case is ready to retire right now. He's just going to opt out of the rest of the quiz. Case, where is this will be your last time to go first, by the way. Where is the University of Virginia at, Case? Where is it? Is it in Charleston, Norfolk, Blacksburg, or Charlottesville? Where is UVA?
D.
He's going with D, Charlottesville. Jared, is it over there in Charlottesville, or could it be in Blacksburg or maybe Charleston? Norfolk?
I'm 99% sure it's Charlottesville.
He likes Charlottesville as well. Jeff, do they have the road map out? Are they right here? Do they know where it is? Do you know?
Yep, it's in Charlottesville.
He's picking Charlottesville as well. Daryl, they've lined this up for you for success or failure. Which way are you going to go?
It's D.
Yeah,
College
all-
and universities is my best subject on Jeopardy.
That's right. The UVA, located in scenic Charlottesville, Virginia. A very nice town to drive through and kind of take a look at stuff. Just to hope that the 3%ers aren't there riding when you do go. So everybody got question number 3 correct? We'll move on to question 4. And Jared, you will now lead us off. Okay.
Oh, joy.
How many male coaches are there in women's basketball in the ACC? There are 15 schools playing basketball on the ACC women's side. How many are male? Is it 4, 5, 6, or 7?
You mean head coach?
Head coaches.
Oh, geez. That's a lot more than I was thinking.
Is
I was like, I
Q
had.
still up at Syracuse? Is he still?
Yeah, I guess we should go ahead and
And we
clarify
haven't
that
seen
for the
an
question.
official firing.
Right.
We haven't seen an official firing of Q yet.
Okay.
There's been a lot of speculation already on who's going to replace him, but
Yeah.
as of now, he is still an ACC coach. So yeah,
I mean, obviously there's Jeff Walls, and like we just mentioned, there's Q, and then there's a couple others. I was thinking it's just a question is how many couple others are there?
What was the question? I'm sorry, I zoned out.
How many male
I
head
mean,
coaches?
how
Okay.
many male women's basketball head coaches are there in the ACC?
That's what my context clues were getting me. I just wasn't sure.
And we just got a couple newer coaches recently too, and that's
Jared's going to.
I don't know. You
Man,
said
Man, I
there's
gotta
what,
write down
50
all the schools to begin with.
I know that I'm going through each school in my head, like who in the world's coaching over there nowadays? Maybe 5, if that many. I'm gonna go 5.
He's going to take a guess at 5. Jeff, you'll go second as 5. Sound about right to you. We got 4, 5, 6, or 7.
Yeah, it's not a huge number. Trying to think. I there's no way I'm gonna come up with a certain number on this. I'm kind of guessing in a range. I'm kind of leaning in about 5 as well.
He's going to take a guess and say 5. We'll put him down for 5 on that. Daryl, how many male coaches in the women's basketball at the ACC?
What's the options
4 or 5.
again?
4 or 5, 6 or 7.
Ugh. And everybody else said 5.
That's what they've been saying so far.
2 of us, yeah.
I'll say 6.
We're going to go with 6 male coaches, and then we'll go to Case for his answer on that. 4, 5, 6, or 7. You can start with Jeff Walls and Quentin Hillsman. Those have been given to you. How many more are there besides that?
I can only come up with 3, but I can envision a 4th. So I'm gonna go with 5 because I think there's just too many schools. There's too many schools that I don't know who the head coach is.
Right.
All right,
comes up
Polly,
with
before you
3.
give us the answers,
Yes.
Let's run through them.
yeah, let me ask. Is it Virginia Tech,
Kenny Brooks.
Yes.
U of L?
Yep.
Jeff
Is it
Walls.
Miami?
No, that's
Nope, Katie
Katie Meyer at Miami.
Dang it. All right, so
Wes.
Syracuse.
Wes at
Q.
NC State.
NC State.
Westmore.
What's more?
There's
Oh,
another
Kansas State's the
one
one I
or 2
forgot.
out there, right?
You better hope there's
It's
not a
gotta be
Warner.
like-
Answer.
So who replaced Muffet?
It's
Was
a
that
one
a
up
kid?
there.
Seal Ivy.
Neil Ivy. Yeah.
It's
So
gotta be
that's a
something
guy.
like Virginia or Wake Forest or Pitt or something like that.
Pitt has Lance White.
Florida State?
Florida
No,
State
that's
has Sue
still
Summerall.
Sue Simmerau.
So,
Lance
Lance
White.
White.
So I was
Yeah,
looking
Lance
for up at Pittsburgh is my 5th one.
Mhm.
There are 5.
Pitt.
Count.
All right.
And
Yes.
coaches.
Jeez,
Yeah.
Case.
Case is a guessing machine.
I'm sitting next to Case in the classroom.
But he's been absent
all-
from class for
We
like
are
3
all
months.
sitting next to Case in the classroom.
You're going to be disappointed when you see him out there rolling a 4-sided die.
He's just one of those guys that can just guess, and I'm like struggling. I
It's
can
great
study
because
for this, and I'm not getting it.
I can guess really well when I show up for the quizzes, but the problem is I miss 2 out of every 3 quizzes, so your grade might go down.
Case, perfect after 4 questions. He leads the way here. Being closely hounded, though, by Jeff, Jared, and Daryl. As Jared will move into question number 5 now. If I was in the Peterson Event Center, what city would I be in? I'm in the Peterson Event City here. Jared, where am I? Am I in Raleigh, North Carolina, Boston, Massachusetts, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or in Miami, Florida? I'm in the Peterson Event Center. Where am I?
This quiz is fun because I know every other answer.
Yeah.
So do
I
I.
don't know.
Oh, no, we're done.
Peterson, I don't know. I was thinking somewhere up in like the northeast area. So I mean, not that that's right at all, but for my guessing, it narrows it down to 2. I don't know, Pitt.
Jared's going to say Pittsburgh. C is his answer. Jeff, we're going to the Pete. Where are we going to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with him. I'm surprised it's not named something after Jonas Salk, but yeah, it's in Pittsburgh.
Say it's up there in Three Rivers City, do you, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, Daryl, there's some Pittsburgh there. What are you thinking about the Peterson Center? Could it be in Raleigh or Boston or Miami, or is it Pittsburgh?
Well, when you said Peterson, I don't know. My mind went to Pennsylvania. I don't know. So I'll go Pittsburgh.
A definite new type of logic out of Daryl there. So we'll put down this Pittsburgh is rhyming with P. Okay. Okay, so everybody's in Pittsburgh right now. Where are you at? Raleigh, Boston, or Miami?
Home of the Oakland Zoo, Pittsburgh.
Oakland Zoo. That is correct. That is the home of the Oakland Zoo. And Pittsburgh was the correct answer on that. Up on the hill at the University of Pittsburgh, the Peterson Center. That's been fortunate enough to be in there a couple of times for games. Beautiful, beautiful sight lines. Not so great acoustics.
Well, there's nothing in Pittsburgh that's flat, so
I hope they were women's games, because the men's games are a little bit insane.
Yeah.
Thanks to the aforementioned Oakland Zoo.
One woman's game, and I was up there for a football game years ago, and walked over to the Pete and spent about 10 minutes in there before security threw me out of the Pete. Yeah. So there you go.
I haven't been to the Pete. I have been to where they play volleyball. I can't think of the name of the facility right now, but it's nearby. So yeah, side of it.
Yeah, it's right around. It's right around the corner. It's Fitzgerald Fieldhouse.
Fitzgerald, that's what it is.
They have played there, right? Because I thought Louisville played Pittsburgh at Peterson a couple of years ago.
Yeah, for women's basketball, but I don't think.
No, I thought they did it for volleyball. For that, it was like the.
They may have.
It was like the last match of the season for the conference championship or something.
That may be
for the conference.
Normally, it's at Fitzgerald. But yeah, it's possible they played on there.
Which at one time was the women's home for basketball too, but then they moved to the Pete along with the men. Case remains perfect after 5 questions here, closely followed by our contestants. Daryl was 3-2, and Jeff and Case 4-1. Moving into question number 6, the second half of our quiz here today, and this will be the final time that you go first, Jared. Question number 6. Which of these ACC schools does not play women's soccer? I'm going to name you 4 schools. Jared, you tell me who doesn't play soccer, women's soccer. Is it Boston College? Is it Georgia Tech? Is it Miami? Or is it Virginia Tech? Which one doesn't play soccer, Jared?
I'm trying to go through who we played recently, but it's not going to go over well.
Boston College, Georgia Tech, Miami, or Virginia Tech?
We played Miami a lot recently. On top of that, it kind of breaks it down to like, who doesn't? I think it's Georgia Tech. I don't remember playing them ever.
He's saying Ramblin' Wreck, Georgia Tech. Jeff, what is he? Has he got the right idea here?
I am not sure, but I believe that is correct. It's Georgia Tech.
So no kicking the ball up there on the flats up there in Atlanta, huh? Daryl, they go with Georgia Tech here. Could it be Boston College, Miami, or Virginia Tech?
Now, I think I remember playing Boston College, and Jared says he thinks he remembers playing Miami, so I guess I'm going to follow suit and say Georgia Tech, because I can't picture us playing them in recent years on the women's side.
Okay, she goes Georgia Tech as well. In case you got 3 buzzes out there right now, as in their mascot. What are you going to say? Georgia Tech?
It's apparent that people didn't read my article, because I mentioned Miami and Boston College by name today because they're both on the schedule for this year. Virginia Tech, we were fighting for that last spot in the ACC tournament last year, so I believe it is Georgia Tech.
I read the article.
We got to check out your reading. We got to check out your reading comprehension, Daryl.
What did he talk about today?
There was going to be a quiz, but I
didn't. I don't remember it, but I read it. Yeah. The Georgia Tech is correct answer. That's right. The Institute of Technology down there in Atlanta, Georgia, does not play women's soccer. They do well in other sports, though, so that makes up for it.
particularly tennis.
All right.
Just oddly.
Especially
Yeah, I'm
in
gonna go and see what sport they have instead of soccer for women's.
They just have one less, I think.
it's peanut growing. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. They have a pretty good football team too. Unfortunately, saw that game when Georgia Tech took over the ACC network. I think it was Wednesday, and that was one of the games that Georgia Tech picked to show how they completely beat Louisville around in the fourth quarter in football. So, moving
I'm
to
not seeing
question
soccer
number.
at all.
Was that when Peter Sermon forgot that Georgia Tech runs a triple option, and then when they reminded him in the first quarter, he promptly forgot it again for the rest of the game, and then they rushed for 500 yards and scored 77 points?
They were out of no, they were out of it by then. They had a little running back by the name of Gibbs and a freshman quarterback.
You mean to tell me when they rushed for 535 yards on dribble, they weren't running the triple option?
That was the game they went 1 for 2 on their passing for like
That's
6 yards.
even worse.
Yeah. But the Paul Johnson ran that triple option in there for years. Obviously, they did quite well with us doing that. Anthony Allen, if you remember him from Louisville football, ended up down there as Georgia Tech running back and had a very good career with them. Okay, question number 7, Jeff. You'll lead us off on this round.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to 7. How many states are represented in the ACC, Jeff?
Great.
There's a bunch of states in the ACC, and I'm including Commonwealths as well, just so you won't get, diverted by that. How many states, Commonwealths are represented in the ACC? Is it 8, 10, 11, or 12? How many states?
I am counting through, and I am coming up with 10.
Jeff says there's 10 states in the ACC represented. Is that a pretty good answer, Daryl, or could it be more or less?
1, 2.
Daryl's taking her shoes off now to complete the count. No, I'm kidding.
I want to say, or what were the options again?
8, 10, 11, or 12.
Oh my God! And of course, I was thinking 9. God, 1, 4, 5, 6.
Daryl definitely thinking way too early.
All right, I'll say 10. Jeez.
She's gonna go with Jeff. She's gonna take a 10er there. Is it gonna be a Franklin here? What do you think on this case? Is it gonna be 8 or 11 or 12, or is it 10?
I was trying very hard to come up with another number, but I'm pretty sure it's 10.
He likes double-digit 10 as well. So Jared, there's 10s across the board here. Which way are you going with that 10?
I'm trying to work my way up because it's a lot of East Coast. Because you got Florida, and then you got Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina,
Jared,
Virginia.
For me right now.
Virginia, nothing West Virginia. You move up, continue following up that route. You got Boston College, Massachusetts. I got to talk through it here.
Just give us a number, G.
New York.
Spit something out, son. Everybody else is on 10. Does that sound good to you or not?
Counting up the East Coast plus Kentucky and Indiana, I think there's 11.
He's going to go with 11 as an answer. Everybody else is at 10. So let's go ahead and run them down for you real quickly. Jared did the majority of that for me, but I'll do it for you indeed. Massachusetts, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina are your first 5 I've got written down. Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and New York, your next 5 for a total of 10. That is correct. 10 states, Commonwealths represented in the ACC.
What extra state did you put in there, Jared?
Yeah.
I think I counted Pennsylvania twice.
Yeah.
I let Maryland throw me off for a second. I let myself get really confused by Maryland.
Great logic, guys. Indeed, this case stays perfect after 7 questions here.
Good Lord.
In a while.
Case ate his Wheaties.
It's the longest I've been perfect on a quiz in a long time.
Because Jeff's trying to hang in there with him. He's only got 1 wrong answer. Daryl's only got 2 wrong answers, and Jared just took his 2nd wrong answer. We got a ball game here, kids. A ball game indeed. Going into question number 8. And so we'll give you this, Jeff. What is the closest AC school to Pittsburgh, not counting Pittsburgh itself? What is the closest AC school to the city of Pittsburgh?
Now we got to get a map out. Jeez.
Is it Virginia? Is it Syracuse? Is it Louisville? Or is it Notre Dame? Which is closer to Pittsburgh in mileage?
I'm down to 2 here. I'm gonna.
He didn't say the one I thought it was.
What's the options?
You've got Charlottesville, Virginia. You've got Syracuse. You've got Louisville, and you've got Notre Dame in South Bend.
I'm gonna go with Syracuse.
Just think it could be Syracuse could be the correct answer here, so we'll put him down for Syracuse. Daryl, 4 nice cities there. Which one's the closest to Pittsburgh?
You are literally all over the map with this quiz. Now I gotta be a geography expert.
You just told me earlier in the quiz, though, you were so great on geography.
I don't want to follow Jeff, but I'm gonna go Q's. Yeah, New York's closest to Pennsylvania. So.
Taking Syracuse as an answer.
I feel like this is a trick. So.
Got 4 answers here, Case. You've got Charlottesville, Virginia, Syracuse, Louisville, Bend. Closest to Pittsburgh. If we were going to go to Pittsburgh, which city would take us less to go to?
I thought it was BC, but since that wasn't on that list, I'm gonna go with UVA in Charlottesville.
That was my second guess. I feel like it's a trick.
Take Charlottesville, Virginia. That brings it down to Jared, who's going to now take us to the United States again. Jared, which one of these 4?
We're going to learn our 50 states today. But no, Pittsburgh is in the southwest corner of Pennsylvania, and Syracuse is pretty upstate New York. So I'm kind of along the lines with Case there with Charlottesville.
It's upstate New York, but it's also kind of west in New York, and New York sticks out pretty far west if you think about it, almost all the way across Pennsylvania. But
breaking down the numbers for you all.
It's that southwest thing that's getting me. I think Virginia.
It is close.
Right.
He's going to tell us the answer.
I did pull up a map, and it is close. I'm not exactly sure from looking at it.
Jeff is cheating.
Only after I gave my answer. Only after I gave my answer.
It's not going to be involved in other questions, but anyway, never mind. Louisville, 394 miles. None of you all took that anyway, so it doesn't matter. South Bend, Indiana, where Notre Dame is 373 miles. None of you all like that one either, so we doesn't count. Syracuse, 267 miles. 2 of you took that. The winner, though, was Charlottesville, Virginia, at 185 miles away from Pittsburgh.
I forget how north Charlottesville is in Virginia.
Probably the most north.
Yeah, you have Blacksburg in your mind.
Yeah, it's up in the upper middle part. Yeah.
As we have Case and Jared with the correct answers on that. Case remains perfect after 8 questions. Boy, can you feel the sweat dripping off his brow over there now?
If it wasn't like 60 degrees in my basement, I would be sweating.
Clutching his laptop tightly as he would go into question number 9. Some schools have left the ACC, unfortunately, over the years. Who was the last one to leave the ACC? Jeff, I'm going to give you 4 schools. You tell me who was the last one to leave. Was it South Carolina? Was it Furman? Was it Maryland? Or was it Rutgers? Who left the ACC? South Carolina, Furman, Maryland, or Rutgers?
I am going to say Maryland.
Going to take that state where they run the Preakness, Maryland, up there. Is Jeff's answer, Daryl? We've got Rutgers in there, Furman, South Carolina, and Maryland.
I'm pretty sure we took Maryland's spot, and that was the last edition. So I'm gonna go Maryland.
Goes at Maryland as well for an answer. So we'll go to Case now. Which one of these four schools were the last to leave the ACC?
Maryland.
He likes Maryland as an answer as well. We got three people singing Maryland. My Maryland. Jared, what are you going to sing?
I'm in agreement, Maryland.
Accidentally gave that one away earlier.
South Carolina did leave the conference in 1971. Joined the SEC, of course. Furman and Rutgers were never in the ACC, so the answer was correct. Maryland, who departed in 2014 to go to one of the big conferences.
To join the Big 14. I mean, Big 10.
Yeah.
I get the Big 10 and 12 confused anymore.
The big int. Big integer.
Big number.
Big conference. Big old conference.
It's just the big.
Question number 10. Case still hanging in there with a perfect score so far. Which school joined the ACC in 2005? Somebody joined the conference in 2005. I want to know who it is, Jeff. Is it Miami, Boston College, Virginia Tech, or Syracuse? Which one of these joined in 2005?
My immediate response, even before you gave the choices, was Syracuse, so I'm going to go with that. I don't know if I'm right.
He's taking the Carrier Dome town right there in Syracuse. Daryl, we got four schools here. All joined the ACC. Who joined in 2005? Miami, Boston College, Virginia Tech, or Syracuse?
I'm pretty confident it's not Syracuse. I think they joined with Pittsburgh a year or so before UofL did. So I think Miami's been in there forever. What was the other two? Virginia Tech and BC?
Yes.
I gotta think of some logic here. I feel like BC would have started in there. I'll go Virginia Tech.
She's going to go rambling wreck of Virginia Tech. All right, Case. Got four good schools here. Miami, Boston College, Virginia Tech, and Syracuse.
Oh, this is based on Louisville's conference history and my somewhat poor memory of that, but I am pretty sure it is Virginia Tech.
He's going to go with Tech as well. Virginia Tech, the answer there for Case. Jared, which one of these four joined in 2005? Miami, Boston College, Virginia Tech, or the Orangemen of Syracuse?
Yeah, it's not Syracuse, and I feel like Miami's been there for a long time, back to their glory days in football, so I kind of narrowed it down to the other two. And I agree, maybe VT, Virginia Tech.
He's going to go Hokie as well on this question. Virginia Tech joined in 2004, though. Miami joined in 2004. It was Boston College.
What?
Oh.
So where were they before?
VT was in the Metro.
BC was in the Big East along with several other schools
Dang
that joined the conference, including Miami, I might add, and
So-
also Virginia Tech.
So Louisville took Boston College's spot in the Big East.
No, because Syracuse, you see, came in a few years later. We actually Maryland's place when they left.
In the East.
Gotcha.
The East, yeah. Okay.
And we were in that weird AAC for a year. So
No,
that
I
was
mean,
kind of
I thought we took Boston College's spot in the Big East in
Well,
2005.
Miami,
Wasn't that when we
check
joined?
real forward in 2005, I think was our first year, or was it 2006?
I think it was
I'm not
2005.
positive on that.
Don't know.
May have been. But Boston College, what I was looking for. None of you had Boston College, so we have finished 10 questions. Get ready to approach the bonus. Case looking very, very nice. There was a score of 90. He's up there. Jeff is hanging in there with everybody. And I'm looking at what Jeff's got here, and Jeff has got a 60. Jared's got a 60 as well. And Daryl at 50. So, bonus
Always
question.
failing.
Case, will you take this bonus?
I have 90 and they have 60?
Yeah.
No.
Dang it.
I'm going to be that person. I'm never that person, but I'm going to do it.
Party pooper.
I haven't won in a long time, and I want it, okay? I want the win. I'm not taking the bonus.
Case is passing on the
Lame.
bonus.
This may be the very first time we've ever had somebody skip the bonus.
No, well, we've
It's a-
seen people do it in the
it's-
past. but
It's like
been
a
long
runaway
time.
win in Jeopardy. I'm betting the exact amount that I can to not lose to you guys, which in this case is 0. So
Lame.
I'm wagering $0 in Final Jeopardy.
Here
Boo.
comes Parker and here come Russell. Case has gone to the bench. All right, Jared, you got some points to make up here, buddy. You going to take this bonus?
Yeah, I want to raise my score up.
You want to raise that score up? Jeff,
Of course.
I don't know why I bothered asking you,
Yeah.
but of course you always do. Daryl, you going to take this bonus?
Yeah, if my computer doesn't die.
Okay.
If it does die, then whatever Jared says.
There you go. Sound logic indeed. Your bonus question is, the AC commissioner is A, John Swafford, B, Jim Phillips, C, Vince Tyree, or D, Chris Daly. I will ask you first, Jared, who is the ACC commissioner right now? John Swafford, Jim Phillips, Vince Tyree, or Chris Daly?
Yeah, for my Jeopardy bet, I'm betting everything, all of my 60 points here. And I'm going with Jim Phillips.
Gonna take Jim Phillips. Very good, sir. Jeff, 4 good options here. Swafford, Phillips, Tyree, or Chris Daly. Where are you going to go?
Yeah, just recently put in place is Jim Phillips.
Giving Daryl a wide open shot down the sidewalk here.
Which I presume
Daryl,
she
you
knows
going to stay
too.
with Jim Phillips?
Yeah, I actually got to meet the past 2 commissioners, and it is Phillips now, was Swafford before.
As we well know, Chris Daly is the coach up at UConn, so it wasn't her. A nice assistant coach, been up there for a long time. Vince Tyree is our athletic director. He's not the ACC commissioner yet. John Swafford, the retired ACC commissioner. Jim Phillips was who I was looking for. And everybody who took the question for the bonus got it correct. Jim Phillips. So B is your answer. Case passes on the quiz, still hangs us on to win by a mere 10 points over Jeff and Jared. So well done, sir. Well done.
I
Would
did
you
not
have had
know
the
the.
answer?
I would have gotten it. I didn't know him by name, but I knew that it was a trick question and that it wasn't John Swafford.
Process of elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew it wasn't John Swafford, and I would have recognized the name. But if you would just ask me straight off the bat who it is, I don't know. I couldn't tell you his name.
All right, gentlemen and ladies, a very, very good quiz there indeed. Congratulations to Case, who comes back from Madison and takes us down. All right, sir. Let's go ahead and moving on into final thoughts here a little bit. We'll let you go ahead and start out with your final thoughts, Case, since you won the quiz.
Okay. It's still pretty dull in the world of UofL athletics. So just trying to get through this summer. Finally mowed for the first time in a couple of weeks, and have to watch a Great Dane puppy for the next week. So that should be an enjoyable addition to my household. So keep me in your thoughts, please.
Carry a towel. Yeah, carry a towel over your shoulder because they do like to slobber a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
True.
All right, Who do you got for me, Jared? Final
Go
thoughts.
Daryl. Go Daryl.
Daryl.
Her
Daryl
computer's
says
gonna
she
die.
wants to go next, so we're gonna do Daryl.
Oh, go Daryl, go Daryl, go Daryl.
So I wanted to let y'all know I did see a women's soccer scrimmage on a schedule sent by the ACC network crew. Looks like August 8th. There is one scheduled at Indiana, 7:30. So that's my final thought. Let y'all know. Inside scoop.
Cool.
Hey,
You
we'll
heard it here
take
first.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Breaking news, August 8th. The Cards will take on the Hoosiers in women's soccer. I love it. All right, where do we leave off here? Jared, maybe? Was it Jared? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just glad to see the fall sports schedules are out and excited to have some sports pick back up again soon. It's been a dull summer.
We have run into that for sure. But we're rounding the bend now with the schedules out. Very excited about that. Jeff, what do you got for me in the way of final thoughts?
Yeah, while we were talking some of the scheduling, I was looking at some of the volleyball stuff, as is my want, and was looking at performance of teams on our schedule from last year and their final rankings on the season, and realized that the RPI in volleyball is weird. Like, teams are way out of place of what you would expect, even after the full season. So, weird stuff there.
Yeah, it's always been kind of an intrigue to me.
Yep.
On how they figure that stuff out to begin with. But if it'd be weird, then it'd be weird. As far as, I'm going to go here with some final thoughts quickly. I'll just say a congratulations to Lauren Hartledge, who fired an incredible 67 in the U.S. Women's Amateur Tournament, to be in big contention there for that. We've loved following her at Louisville over the years, and certainly congratulations to her. She qualified for the U.S. Women's Amateur. They'll be holding this up in Rye, New York, gang. There's such a place to go. You get tired of bourbon, go to Rye up in New York from August 2nd through the 8th at the Westchester Country Club. So way to go, Lauren. I'm proud of you, girl. Get them straight and stay out of the sand. And that'll do it for another edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast. Tickled to be with you. Hope to be with you again next week. If you know something we don't, let us know. And until then, everybody have a great weekend.